I checked the camera to laugh at my wife in her pajamas. Instead I called the police. My name is Marcus Webb, 37 years old. Senior Logistics Coordinator from Portland, Oregon. 6 years married to Jenna, graphic designer, worked from home, left coffee cups in rooms she'd never returned to, argued with our cat Gerald like he had valid counterpoints. I loved her without question. That Thursday morning she caught me at the door. Are you working until 8 tonight? Yeah, probably. Kiss on the cheek. Door closed. Gone. What I didn't mention, our apartment cameras had finally come back online the night before. 11 days of faulty wiring, a landlord who moved like cold honey, a technician who'd finally shown up Wednesday while I was at work. Jenna had let him in. Texted me afterward. All fixed. So at 10 a.m. I opened the security app at my desk. 30 seconds max. Just confirming the feed was clean. The footage loaded. Jenna was in the living room, but she wasn't in pajamas. Wasn't eating cereal. Wasn't doing anything I'd expected. She was standing at our open front door, letting in a man I'd never seen before. He walked in carrying an empty duffel bag. She closed the door behind him, looked both ways down the hallway first, the way people check for witnesses, then pointed him toward our bedroom without a single word. Like they'd rehearsed this. I sat at my desk in complete silence for 4 seconds, then picked up my phone and called 911. The operator picked up immediately. I kept my voice low, open plan office, 17 colleagues within earshot, and spoke into my collar like a man trying not to fall apart in public. I'm watching my apartment camera right now. There's a man inside. My wife let him in. He's going through our bedroom. Is your wife in danger, sir? I watched the screen. Jenna had followed him into the bedroom. She wasn't cowering. Wasn't on her phone. She was opening our closet herself, pulling boxes from the top shelf, handing them down to him one by one with the casual efficiency of someone helping a friend move apartments. No, I said slowly. She's helping him. Silence on the operator's end. Brief. Loaded. Sir, can you confirm your address? I gave it. Stayed on the line. Wash. The man worked through our bedroom with quiet precision. Dresser drawers, nightstand, the lockbox I kept on the upper shelf that Jenna had always pretended not to notice. He didn't force it. Just placed it carefully into the duffel like he already knew exactly what was inside. He knew. She told him. My colleague Dana appeared beside my desk. Marcus, the Henderson call starts in 4 minutes, and I looked up at her with an expression that made her immediately step back. Cancel it, I said. I watched Jenna walk the man back toward our front door 20 minutes later. Duffel bag full. She checked the hallway again before opening the door. Same move. Same caution. Then she hugged him. Not a lover's embrace. Something more familiar than that. The way you hug someone who just did you an enormous favor. The lockbox. That's what kept pulling me back. He hadn't forced it. Hadn't struggled with it. Just picked it up and placed it in the bag like a man who knew exactly what he was collecting. Which meant Jenna had either given him the combination, or given him the box key that lived on my keychain. I checked my keys in my pocket. The small brass key was gone. I didn't remember when I'd last seen it. Last week? 2 weeks ago? I used that lockbox maybe once a month. Cash reserves, my passport, my grandfather's watch, the deed to my car. Nothing earth-shattering individually. Everything important collectively. My phone buzzed. Jenna, cat-faced Gerald just knocked my entire coffee off the counter. Chaos here lol. I stared at that message for a long time. She was texting me cat updates. While the evidence of whatever she'd just done was walking out of our building in a duffel bag, she was sending me cat updates with a laughing emoji. I typed back, haha classic Gerald. Then I opened my banking app. Joint checking, normal. Joint savings, normal. Then I checked the individual account I kept separately, the one with my emergency fund, 8 months of expenses, money I'd been quietly building since my father's health had started declining 2 years ago. Last transaction, yesterday at 4:47 p.m. Wire transfer. $23,400. Outgoing. I didn't recognize the destination account. I scrolled up through the transaction history with shaking hands. 3 previous transfers over the past 6 weeks. $4,000. $6,500. $8,200. Small enough to ignore. Large enough to matter. She hadn't done this yesterday. She'd been doing this for 6 weeks. I left the office without telling anyone. Took the stairs. Sat in my car in the parking garage with the engine off and the footage still open on my phone. Watched the whole sequence again from the beginning. Man arrives, Jenna lets him in, bedroom, closet, lockbox, duffel bag, hug, gone. 4 minutes 17 seconds. 6 years of marriage summarized in 4 minutes 17 seconds. I called my bank from the car. Fraud department. Waited 6 minutes on hold listening to instrumental music that felt specifically designed to make difficult moments worse. The representative's name was Claire. I explained the unauthorized transfers calmly and precisely. Claire pulled the account history and went quiet for a moment that stretched longer than it should have. Mr. Webb, these transactions were authorized using your personal security credentials. Correct password, correct PIN, correct security questions. Pause. They were initiated from a device registered to your home Wi-Fi network. Jenna's laptop. She hadn't stolen my password. She'd watched me type it. I need everything frozen, I said. Every account. Joint and individual. Right now. I can do that, sir, but. Right now, please, Claire. Accounts frozen. I hung up and sat there. Then something shifted in my chest, moved past shock, past confusion, past the raw, disoriented grief of betrayal, and landed somewhere quieter, colder, deliberate. She'd asked me this morning if I was working until 8. Not because she missed me. Because she needed a precise window. 7 hours. She'd calculated she had 7 hours. I looked at the time. 11:23 a.m. She thought she had until 8. Which meant I had the rest of the day to figure out exactly who my wife actually was. I drove to my friend Danny's place. Not home. Not the police. Not yet. Danny Reeves had been my closest friend since college. Now ran a private investigations firm out of Southeast Portland. The kind of man who found things people buried. I'd referred clients to him twice before without ever imagining I'd one day show up at his door looking like I'd been hit by something I hadn't seen coming. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and stepped aside without asking a single question. I showed him the footage. He watched it completely without expression, the specific focused stillness of someone professionally trained not to react. Then he rewound it twice. Paused on the man's face near the front door. I know him, Danny said quietly. I stared at him. Not personally. But I've seen this before. He pointed at the screen. The way he moves. Checking angles before entering, handling items without touching surfaces directly, systematic room progression. That's not a thief, Marcus. Thieves are messy. Opportunistic. He looked at me. That man was executing a specific extraction. He came for particular things, not everything valuable, just specific items. Danny paused. What exactly was in that lockbox? I listed everything. Passport. Watch. Car deed. Danny's expression shifted slightly when I mentioned the passport. Your wife, where is she originally from? Denver, I said. Why? Danny was already typing. Pulled up a database I didn't recognize, typed in Jenna's full name, date of birth, Denver, Colorado. 30 seconds of silence. Then he turned the screen toward me slowly. 0 results. Marcus. His voice was careful. Measured. Jenna Webb doesn't exist. 0 results. Not limited results. Not records unavailable. 0. Complete absence. Like someone had taken a person-shaped hole and filled it with a name and a backstory and handed it to me 6 years ago, and I'd accepted it completely without ever once looking underneath. Run it again, I said. Danny ran it again. Same result. He tried variations. Jennifer Webb, Jenna Marie Webb, Colorado DMV records, Oregon State ID Registry. He cross-referenced her social security number from the joint tax returns I'd pulled up on my phone. The number existed. It belonged to a woman named Jenna Marie Caldwell, born 1987, died 2003. 16 years old. Danny leaned back in his chair slowly. She's using a dead girl's identity, he said. Not dramatically. Just factually. The way you'd read a weather report. It's called ghosting, stealing the identity of someone who died young before digital records were comprehensive. Clean social security number, buildable credit history, no living person to contradict you. He paused. It's not easy to pull off. Takes preparation. Resources. Connections. 6 years, I said. The words felt strange in my mouth. She maintained this for 6 years. Probably longer, Danny said. This kind of infrastructure takes time to build. She wasn't new to this when she met you. He pulled up another screen. Marcus, I need to ask you something carefully. Your father passed recently? 8 months ago. And his estate? Finalized 3 weeks ago. I stopped. Documents at home. Filing cabinet. Danny and I looked at each other simultaneously. I was already reaching for my keys. He put his hand on my arm. Don't, he said firmly. If she's who I think she is, Walking back in there alone is the worst possible move you could make right now. Danny called Detective Briggs directly. They had history, professional, mutual respect, the kind of relationship built on years of crossing paths on cases where private investigation ended and police work began. Briggs picked up on the second ring and Danny handed me the phone without preamble. I talked for 4 minutes straight. Briggs didn't interrupt once. When I finished he was quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Marcus Webb, your wife's photograph. Can you send me a clear image right now? I pulled the best frame from the apartment footage. Send it. 30 seconds passed. I'm looking at her right now, Briggs said slowly. In our system. Another pause, longer this time, the kind that precedes information that restructures everything. We know her as Christine Adler. Before that, Kelly Marsh. Before that, 2 other names I'm still pulling. His voice dropped slightly. Marcus, she's wanted in 2 states. Nevada and Arizona. Estate fraud, identity theft, conspiracy. She's been doing this for 11 years. 11 years. I'd been married to her for 6 of them. The man in your footage, Briggs continued, fits the description of her known associate, a man named Victor Reyes. We've been trying to connect him to her for 3 years. I heard him stand up, movement in the background. I'm dispatching units to your apartment right now. Marcus, does she own a vehicle registered separately from yours? I thought hard. She drives my car mostly, but, yes. A Honda. Registered under her name. License plate. I gave it. Briggs typed something. Then stopped. Marcus. His voice shifted into something careful and precise. Her vehicle just triggered a traffic camera 14 minutes ago. Where? Portland International Airport. They caught her at gate C7. Boarding pass to Mexico City. 1 carry-on. My passport in her bag. She'd needed it as a backup identity document, Danny explained later, standard procedure for someone running a clean disappearance. My grandfather's watch was in there too. Wrapped carefully in a sock like it was just another item on a packing list. Victor Reyes was arrested 20 minutes later at a FedEx location in Beaverton attempting to ship my father's estate documents to a Phoenix address. I wasn't at the airport. Briggs had been firm about that. I sat in Danny's kitchen drinking coffee that tasted like nothing and watched the clock move and waited for my phone to ring. It rang at 4:47 p.m. We have her, Briggs said. 3 words. I put the phone down on the table and sat completely still for a long time. Her real name, her original name, was Christine Adler. Born in Sacramento. 43 years old. 11 years of constructed identities, carefully selected targets, meticulously executed exits. 4 states. 6 confirmed victims before me. Men who'd lost inheritances, savings, years, and in 2 cases never fully understood what had actually happened to them. I testified at her trial 4 months later. Sat 12 feet away from the woman I'd shared a bed with for 6 years and watched her watch me with an expression I finally recognized for what it actually was. Not love, not guilt, not even contempt. Pure calculation. Wondering if I'd be useful somehow even now. Christine Adler received 14 years. Victor Reyes received 9. I recovered most of the transferred funds. My father's estate documents were returned intact. The lockbox contents, minus $340 cash she'd apparently considered pocket money, came back in an evidence bag 3 weeks after the arrest. My grandfather's watch included. I put it back exactly where it had always been. Some nights I still hear her asking that question across our kitchen. Are you working until 8 tonight? Casual. Warm. Completely manufactured. I used to think love made you invincible. Turns out it just makes you honest, and sometimes that honesty is exactly what someone with bad intentions is counting on.